Alright, so I've played Path of Exile for a very, very long time. First the original game and the second game now for, I didn't enjoy it last league as much as everybody else seemed to. I didn't like the battle. Anyways, we'll move on. This league is really awesome, and this build is super fucking awesome, and I have played a lot of different people's builds, and I have, you know, spent time trying to find like what a lot of people are doing, and it's really, in my experience, I have found that time and time over again, people fail me, and I will like use their build or something like that, and then they get to a point where they're getting some super unethical shit on their build, where it's like I have no fucking idea how you would even afford something like that with like getting early on, because you need like certain entry things, and it's just like, so I mean, obviously, with that being said, this is my take on something that allows people to get to the end game, complete the end game, be able to enjoy the full entirety of the game on a shoestring budget, and have the ability to just enjoy the game. I mean, without like worrying about all of the crazy bullshit that all of these other builds come to offer. So this build has a very easy entry, and I've been playing it since the league start, and I'll go through what I've been doing and why I think this build is good. There's a lot of tech that I'm utilizing in this build, and right here I'll have some gameplay of me basically just going through this map. I forgot the delirium mirror over there, so I went and picked up that delirium mirror. So if this looks like something that looks interesting for you, and looks like you, because here's the other thing too, is I've played a lot of warrior builds, and I've played a lot of slam builds, but in even this league, I went and I like checked out to see like what the other like warriors are doing and stuff like that, and everything that every single one of them looks fucking lame. I'm sorry to be that guy to just be like, oh well, your build looks lame, but it looks boring, and it looks boring to play. It doesn't look fun. To me, I like to be able to fucking explode giant packs with giant proliferations and stuff like that. So that's what you're seeing here. And so what I took from the slam is the best thing that the slams had to offer, which is basically being able to utilize a shield with it. And yeah, you could use other things, maybe like a wand and a shield and stuff like that, and that's something to potentially pursue for other builds. But the reason why I'm doing this is because first, whenever we do our leap slam, we will hit off these craters. The craters will go off, and the craters are triggering our Herald of Blood, because we have a bleed linked to our leap slam. So when the leap slam goes off, all of the craters can bleed, and then we can explode our shield wall. When we explode our shield wall, it will do massive ignites, and then we can use our wing blast to go ahead and proliferate everything and explode everything. So here's a little bit of boss damage. This is a tier 13 map, but honestly it's the same on everything. So basically all we do is we hit Mace Strike a couple of times to ramp up combo on our shield charge, because we're using the Alias Chime with culmination on the shield charge, shield wall, so it allows it to build up combo. And this only works with strike skills, and it has to be on the same bar that you're using it on. So that's why we're using the Mace Strike, which is the standard mace attack, to just, it's not, it does slap like kind of crazy hard, but it's like we're only using it to generate charges when we need charges on demand. because last league I played and I was trying to figure out ways to generate more power charges, and there was a lot of different things that I wasn't really sure about when it came to power charge generation. Like, I was just like trying to figure out like if there's any extra like tech, and so basically I ended up finding out about the alias Chime. I might be fucking saying it wrong or something like that, but anyways, I found out about alias Chime and how it can consume combo in order to generate power charges. And then I learned that culmination can be put onto any support skill to basically add combo to that support skill. So that's what we're doing with our shield wall. We're just gonna just go through and start showing you the what we're running. This is the alias Chime. This is what I've been talking about this whole time. It says chance to gain a power charge when expending combo, and expending combo with supported skills from combo when per combo expired. So the important thing to know about this is I've thought about multiple ways to generate the combo stacks faster. There's practice combo, which is a support gem that you can put into your mace strike, which will increase your chance by 40% to 2 combo. So also it's really important that you have culmination put into the skill before alias Chime, or else alias Chime will just not go into there. Right now we have living lightning attached to our shield wall as well. This is something that I'm testing around with and trying. I've seen some other combinations on monk builds where they're using like living lightning, culmination, and alias Chime, and it's basically proccing and allowing the minions are proccing, allowing them to build combo and generate the power charges for them passively. I think that has something to do with their overall, like what they're doing with their build, and like the ascendancy of the monk. There's a hidden piece there that I'm not quite familiar with. I found a guy that had a video about talking about it, but I actually don't think he knew 100% what he was talking about, mainly just because of how he was describing how the skill needed to be set up and how it was operating. It sounded like it was operating in a way that could be a bug, but we're using the skill in a way where we're not using it in a way that's a bug. Anyways, so what I was showing here is this is our skill tree, and also I'm showing mauling strikes and bear roar. So these things are good to get early on, and I'm showing like this is the pathing direction that you want to take early on. You want to go and you want to grab the life nodes, you want to grab the damage, and then you want to come up and grab this first. And then you also might need the stun build up, because at first you might not have alias Chime, so you'll need stun build up in order to use your wing blast to heavy stun bosses in order to get your power charges early on. Alright, now you go up to there, and then you go down, and then you come this direction to get blood magic. You do that to also get the extra fizz. You do that to get the armor against projectiles. And then once you get these nodes, once you start going this direction to come down this way, you want to first go all the way down. But what I'm showing here is that you can drop the stun nodes once you decide to go this direction, once you have the alias Chime. And over here we're just picking up some more attack damage, and we have some shield nodes are on our front bar, our back bar, which is our shield bar, which is gonna set us at a solid 50% block chance while we're using the surrender, the unique shield. And we're going through these strength nodes in order to potentially later grab Rage on Ignite, and then this Blazing Arms, which will give us a shit ton of extra damage. Rage on Ignite could be, Blade Catcher is really good too. Anyways, Rage on Ignite could be really good because while we're using our oil barrage on bosses and stuff like that, I've noticed that a rage can fall off, but while we're using Berserk, that's not as much of an issue. But if we have rage on Ignite, it would continuously keep it up. So, alright. And then over here, later we start going into weapon swap passes. This one's really important because while you're in beast form, you gain 12% more rage. And then over here, on the second bar, you consume all of your rage when you go to your front bar for a massive amount of healing. And then this also gives you a massive amount of damage taken recouped as life, and it gives you like 5% of your maximum life while standing still. Made to last is a very powerful node too. We're going to be anointing this on one of our amulets, or just our amulet specifically. I haven't done it yet because the new mechanic in order to do it is kind of ass. You have to like fight like 5 delirium bosses, and they have to randomly show up in your maps. Like, and I've been running fucking delirium mirrors and shit like that, and they just don't show up. I don't fucking know. The mechanic's kind of ass now. Anyways, we got Rapid Strike Crater. I'm gonna kind of speed through this. If you need to pause, go ahead and do that if you need to see what I'm running in certain areas. Another thing is I'm also have a written guide that I have been working on, and I am gonna put that in the details down below. So if I'm going too fast for anybody, don't worry. I have a fucking full-on written guide that you can check out, and I explain things in more detail, and I also have more information on the build specifically, as far as gear and what stats to look for, and certain uniques that might be helpful for you early on. Anyways, Holy Descent is what we want on Devour, and we want Holy Descent on Devour and Leap because it gives us 5%. It gives us a consecrated ground. It gives us 5% of maximum life as life regen. So it's a fucking extremely powerful buff. Wing Blast, magnified area, fan the flames is important. Enduring impact for endurance charges, heft, and I don't know how the fuck to say this, but it's Chimera's Hide. That's the best that I could do. Basically, while you have this buff, damage taken is stored, and when the buff expires, you gain guard for a certain duration, and then you also gain rage. So this is really good when like you do Wing Blast, because the Wing Blast usually, like, you'll build up your charges, your combo with Mace Strike. You throw down your shield wall, hit your Wing Blast, it will trigger that support gem, and then if you're taking damage while that's happening, that will also give you rage back. So that also kind of solves the rage, some portions of the rage issue that we are dealing with when the rage fall off that we're dealing with while we're in Wyvern form when we go into do bosses and stuff like that. Okay, Herald of Blood is also important because it's linked with Life Leech, Poison, Bursting Plague, and the last one, it's some fucking shit that just dropped that's like increases your poison damage per rage, which is kind of crazy on this. Yeah, so Bursting Plague will make anything that's poisoned explode because it changes the poison into a Bursting Plague. And then that's the one I was just talking about, Tactica's Ira. That's the one that increases damage based on poison damage based on rage. So we're also running Berserk and Herald of Ash, Vitality, Cannibalism, and Magnified Area. Alright, into the armor. The Ornate Chest Piece is the most important thing right here because the Ornate Chest Piece gives the maximum life regen roll on it. So you want to round around like 2% to 2.5. Anywhere in between there is like really good because it stacks with the damage taken node that I just showed right there and Holy Descent. So together with all of this like life regen, when we like leap slam, we get a shit ton of life recovery back, and we're recovering 4% of our maximum life whenever we block because of the surrender. So we have a fucking ton of survivability. And if you saw in the beginning of the video where you were wondering like how exactly I was regenerating a energy shield constantly like that, we're actually don't have any energy shield regen at all. We're running this skill called Scarred Faith. It's a keystone that's in the skill tree basically on our druid side of it. And the Scarred Faith, I've talked more about this in a previous video, but basically Scarred Faith is a very important part of this build, mainly because we have a little bit of, that's why we're running armor energy shield gloves, because, and we're running max energy, a max energy shield roll, not a percentile base. We're running a flat max energy stat on our necklace. And this is my talisman. It's kind of unethical, mainly because I got really lucky on crafting it, and so now this is where I'm at. It could be better, but it's still pretty good for where I'm at. I showed you the extra percentage, extra chaos damage as physical ruin that I have socketed in there, because it's really powerful with like a ring that I have where it also gives me chaos damage as well, and helps us be able to push through like bosses that have like fire resistances and stuff like that. But now we're at the point where I'm going to talk about the ascendancy. So we're using the ascendancy for the double adaptation effect, which here's Apocalypse. Apocalypse is something that is probably pretty good, but doesn't really seem too good for what we're doing, so I'm kind of ignoring it. So my other idea is to go up here once we get our 4th ascendancy and to try Furious Wellspring. This will give us plus 13 rage. It will make us regen our rage passively, and because of this node, every 10 rage is 12% physical damage, so it's a shit ton of extra damage. And there's that node as well, which increases your damage based off your rage, off your fire damage. So those are like multiplicable, like they stack together. Like, so it's like if you have both of those, that's really strong. But we're mainly using it for Avatar of Evolution, because look at all of this fizz damage taken as for all of these different elements. And then you got the double adaptation effect, and adaptations are gained by taking elemental damage, and when you take elemental damage from the adaptations, you'll gain adaptations of that elemental type. And so that paired with Scarred Faith, which allows us 5% of our physical damage that we take is gained as energy shield per enemy power. So the more enemies that are around us, the more we're getting hit, or the bigger and badder the enemy is, it's going to hit us and it's going to recover our energy shield. This happens even when we block. So having not a massive amount of energy shield is kind of key here. You just want to have like a small little buffer of energy shield. That way you're constantly mitigating that damage and it's replenishing it. So that's why my shield will ping pong up and down. So here's kind of how to play the build. You can throw the shield wall down, you can wing blast, and that will explode everything. You can throw the shield down wall and hit your rend if you have power charges. You can throw your shield wall down, you can fucking smack it with your mace attack and it will explode, and living lightning will crack off everywhere. You can throw your shield wall down and you can scream at it with fortifying cry, and if you do that, it will explode. And you can go ahead and throw the shield wall down, and you can go ahead and leap slam onto it, and it will also explode. The other thing you could do is you could throw the shield wall down, scream at the fucking shield wall, and then hit your wing blast. So that's what this looks like. You throw the shield wall down, fucking scream at it, and then you wing blast, and then everything explodes. So that's what you'll see a lot while I'm like playing. You'll see I'll leap slam into attack. They can hit me a whole bunch because we're super fucking picky, and a bunch of shit is happening that will recover our life. And we're also standing in a consecrated ground because our leap slam creates a consecrated ground. We go ahead, and the whole point is to generate just like power charges, and if you see like something like this, you can just oil fucking barrage and get rid of it, like, you know, and then you got all this extra oil that you could do. And if you like come against something difficult that you can't like heavy stun directly immediately, you just fucking hit it a couple times with your mace attack, and then you can put down your shield wall, and then that will trigger your fucking that will trigger your power charges, and then you can wing blast, and then when you wing blast, that transforms you into a Wyvern, triggering that gem, which gives you guard for damage that you're taking, it's just stored, and gives you rage as well. So, a lot going on there, and after you wing blast out too, you can fucking do your oil barrage. So it's like a combination that all like synergizes with itself. And yeah, that's kind of that's about how you play the build. Again, Herald of Blood is really important for the life leech because our creators have bleed because Leap Slam has bleed. So the creators will trigger the Herald of Blood when you Leap Slam into the creators, and they'll crack off again. And so that's what we're dealing with. So I'm gonna go ahead and let you guys see what this build looks like. And a tier 15 map, pretty juiced, at least as juiced as I wanted to do it at that moment. But anyways, you'll be able to see kind of, I'll just kind of shut up now, and if you guys like the build and this is something that you want to play, then here you go. Alright, I knew I said I was going to shut up, but there's one last thing I wanted to mention about the Herald of Blood setup. So the Herald of Blood, also, when enemies explode from the Herald of Blood, it triggers the life leech because the enemies that are bleeding explode. So Herald of Blood makes enemies that are bleeding explode. Now, Herald of Blood will explode on enemies. The enemies that explode and don't die will become poisoned. The enemies that don't die and become poisoned will get the Bursting Plague. The Bursting Plague will then allow them to explode an additional time when they die. So they're exploding from the fucking Herald of Blood, and then they're exploding from the Bursting Plague, and the ones that survive and are poisoned are exploding an additional time. And also, we have Herald of Ash, and Herald of Ash is making everything explode additionally for its overkill damage. So, that's what's happening with all of that.
I'll take it. That fiend